Hi, I'm Lisa. Welcome to my glass studio. Well, we have a lot going on out here today. The studio is currently not a glass studio, it's currently a woodworking studio. We're working on a wall unit, a bookshelf, a built-in unit to go in our daughter's house, which we're really excited about. It's a birthday gift for her. We love doing all types of creativity out here, and woodworking is one of the things that we all love to work on, as well as glass. So right now, if you look around, we've got different pieces of wood on the table. We have this umbrella, which we use outside for shade. We had a recent storm that left us with all of this debris. All of these branches, things you see here, were only from a very small portion of our yard. We have piles like this everywhere. So today we're going to haul that off into the backwoods and take care of it another day. If you look over here, we've got a table saw. We use that for cutting, wood to size. Over here we've got some wood. We've got a chop saw over here. Got a gigantic chop saw over here for cutting trim molding. I've got all sorts of woodworking tools here. We've got a nail gun and a hammer and sawhorses and spackle and paint and sandpaper. We've got a giant compressor over here. Tools all laid out over here. And over here you can see the bookshelf that's going to be put together in that beautiful steel blue kind of color that is going to be painted. Really looking forward to that being done. And looking forward to getting my studio back to normal because next week I have a class out here. I have 3 students flying in to take classes with me, hands-on classes, and we need to get this place back in order. But today we're doing sort of an impromptu video of 10 tips for better glass fusing projects. So I love to give you information that helps you improve your glass fusing, the quality of your pieces, streamlines your workflow, and increases your accuracy to make your pieces more professional. So what I have here is 10 tips for better glass fusing projects. I'm going to list all of these items with details on my blog. So after you watch this video, go over and check out my blog, and you can print that out if you want to and have these tips handy for you to use. Whenever you're in the heat of it, in the middle of those projects, you're thinking, what can I do that makes this a little bit better? These are those helpful hints that will help you out. Number 1, clean your glass before you cut it. It's much easier to clean a full sheet of glass with water and I use a water sponge and just a dry cotton cloth. I don't introduce any contaminants. I don't use any chemicals. I don't use any solvents to clean my glass. Just water and then clean it with a dry towel. Clean it before you cut it. It's much easier to clean a big sheet than it is a whole bunch of little tiny strips. Plus, you'll tend to put a little more effort into that cleaning and make sure your entire piece of glass is really spotless before you get started. Once you cut it up, then it's like, I don't want to go back and clean these 15 little pieces. It's time consuming. It slows you down. Now you're in the meat of construction. You don't want to do it. You'll do a better job if you do it right up front. Pull that glass off the shelf, wipe the front down, turn it over, wipe the back down, dry the front, dry the back, then cut it and assemble your project. So that's number 1. Number 2, use the right tool for the job. What I mean by that is if you're going to use strips in your artwork, use a strip cutter to cut those pieces. If you're going to use a circular shape, use a circle cutter. If you're going to use mosaic pieces, little tiny chopped up pieces, use mosaic nippers. If you need something that's a really intricate, like a C shape, use a saw to cut that glass. You don't have to use a saw for everything. Matter of fact, I use my saw as little as possible. I only use it when it's absolutely necessary to get a shape that I would otherwise not be able to get when cutting the glass by hand. So, for more professional results, use the right tool for the job. It also increases your accuracy, reduces your material waste, and it expedites and streamlines your workflow. So that's always great. All right, pick a color palette and stick with it. What I mean by that is, if you're going to work with blues, don't throw in a red. Don't throw in other colors. Pick a color palette and stick with it. That shows real authority and design purpose and a higher level of sophistication for you as the artist because you have selected a specific color palette. Now, if you're not sure what color palette to use, I like to give my pieces a little bit of a story. Like I might say to myself, all right, if this project came from a New England beach, what would my color scheme be? It might be soft blue, white and navy, some amber, some sage green would all make a beautiful project that you might find in New England. Now let's say we're going to make a project that came from Midwest. That might have orange and brown and gold and amber and tan and maybe some blue for like a sky color. That'd be a sort of a different color palette, but it gives you in your mind kind of an idea of a direction to go and kind of parameters to stick within. So when you make that art, it's really, really strong because you've stuck with a specific color palette. Now let's take a project that maybe came from the Caribbean. That might have yellow and orange and aqua and Caribbean blues and really beautiful shades of lemon and orange colored and like a Amazon green or a lime green. Those colors would be colors I would pick for that region. And that, again, it helps you kind of stick to a color palette and shows more authority as you as the artist and the designer. In keeping with your colors, use high contrast colors. Now, furniture, home decor, a lot of that stuff has become very neutral. No, not for us. No, we're artists. We can have fun with our glass. Pick high contrast color. Black and white is phenomenal together. Navy blue and white is awesome together. Tan and black is a beautiful combination. But then also, introduce some red, black, and white. When you are picking a blue that's going to go next to a yellow, pick bright colors that are high contrast, maybe a very bright blue and then a softer yellow. But by having those high contrast colors, it makes your art and your designs more impactful, more memorable. And isn't that amazing when your art isn't something that people just look at, I'll just keep moving on. You want them to say, wow, this is awesome, this is spectacular. Okay, maybe it's not my color scheme. Maybe it wouldn't fit into my decor, but I love this art, I love this design, I love the energy that I'm feeling from this art because of the high contrast colors that you, as the artist, selected and chose. All right, number 5, include a focal point. A focal point can be literal, like a tree, a bird, a butterfly, or it can be subject related. It could be, you have a bunch of circles and maybe you throw in a square. Maybe it could be color related. Maybe you have a bunch of circles, they're all black and white and you throw in a red circle. That's your focal point. A focal point anchors the viewer's eye on your art, increases the visibility of it and the movement within that art. This is a great example. This is Tree of Tranquility. Now here we have this beautiful background with this wonderful wash of colors, and then I've selected this, placed this focal point, this tree on top to really anchor your eye, give you something recognizable that you can relate to, which increases the visibility, enhances the art, increases how memorable it is, and increases the interaction between the art and the viewer, which are all things as artists that we love to interact with people, to enhance, to communicate. And here the communication is this beautiful tranquil scene, and then this strong energetic tree there that gives us something to hold on to, something memorable. Even if you don't remember the name of it, you'll remember the tree. So create a focal point. And again, it could be literal or it could be subject related. It could be color related. But by increasing that visible interest in your work, really elevates the sophistication of your pieces. And really, you'll see an increased excitement about the pieces that you're making and an increased excitement about building them because it's so much more fun when you have something that you can really hold on to yourself. So another one, number 6, do your best work. You've heard me say this before. If you're creating something and you're at a point where you're like, is this good enough? I'm here to tell you, no, it's not good enough. Redo it. You will benefit, your artwork will benefit from you doing your absolute best work from step 1 to the very last step. This piece right here, this was kind of complicated. This is difficult to put together. But there were some times where I was like, maybe I could, do a little less detail here on the side. Maybe I didn't need to do the extra grinding. Maybe I didn't need to do the extra firing. And I always come back to, I'm already putting in the time. I've already put in the mental energy. I've already, using the materials. I'm not going to, fall short on any one of those steps. If it takes a little longer, that's what it takes. Plus, I just love being in my studio. I love being creative. I love creating. So don't skimp. Do your best work on every single step, and your work, you will be rewarded so much in the higher quality professionalism of your work. You're just going to love it. Number 7, design like a pro. How you put your project together will determine the finished size, shape, and edge quality and durability of that project. So what I suggest you do is have a base layer, then a design layer, then an accent layer. Then the base layer and the design layer should be the same size and shape. The design layer should completely cover that base layer. If you fire that way, you have very consistent edge quality, very consistent thickness throughout the entire piece of art, which not only makes it attractive, but durable. And then any of those accent pieces shouldn't change the outer shape. You should get really nice edge quality. Then when you slump the project, you have really nice contours because everything is uniform. So how you assemble your project is in direct relation to the durability of it and the attractiveness of it. So really pay a lot of attention to how you're putting it together. Now, of course, there's times when, like if you're making Christmas ornaments or little tiny ornaments that are just one layer or tack views, that's a little bit different. But if you're making some really significant art and you want it to last long and look attractive and be durable, then it is all contingent. It comes down to how you put it together. So consider how you're layering your projects. If you're having breakage, a lot of times that has to do with having the layers are not uniform. It's really thick in one spot, thin in another. You're creating some stress in there, some tension that the glass cannot support. So it's up to you to create your projects in such a way that they're not only attractive, but they're also durable, long-lasting, and therefore very professional. Number 8, take your time. Don't rush the assembly and do not rush the firing process. Don't open the kiln to peak early. You don't want to. Better off to let that project cool on its own accord till room temperature. Then you can open it safely. You'll have much better results, more consistent results. You know, a lot of times these tips that I'm giving you, not only are they just good practices, but they give you consistent results over and over. Consistent results means you can go into your studio with confidence that when you start something and you will be able to finish something, it'll come out the way you planned, the way you wanted it to look, with the integrity and the professionalism that you wanted. So take your time when it comes to the assembly, firing and slumping it. Allow the kiln to do its job. Don't rush it. Just, fire. If you're not sure how fast or slow to fire, always fire a little bit slower. Now, I'm not saying like 2 days slower, but if you want to add a little 40 minutes to an anneal or add, a little extra, instead of going 300 an hour, go, 250 an hour, that's fine. Small increments like that will benefit you because your projects will come out consistent and successful. Slump your project. That's number 9. A lot of times I'll see a project, I'll say, both of these are flat. Should I or shouldn't I slump them? A lot of times, I consider that I don't have to slump everything, but if I don't, how am I going to display it? So if I do slump it, then it has a natural curvature that'll rest nicely on the table. It'll rest nicely in a stand. It might hang nicely on the wall. So slumping your projects is a choice you have to make at the end or maybe at the beginning when you're originally designing the piece. But whether or not you slump it, if you do, you're adding a nice graceful shape and form that is otherwise not there. So it's a great way to take something that might be a little bit plain, something maybe you thought was going to be a little more exciting than it really is. You add the slump, and then it becomes much more exciting, much more attractive, and it's a great way to display it. So consider slumping your pieces, even if you maybe hadn't originally thought you might. Consider doing that in the end if you think it'll increase the desirability, increase the attractiveness, and give that artwork a little something it didn't have before. Another thing, number 10, get creative with your display. This piece of art was designed to fit in this iron stand, so it has a really nice display that holds it upright so light can go through it, but it also keeps it safe. This is a great way to display it where on a table, if there's a little bit of a wind, if somebody bumps the table, this isn't going anywhere. It's going to be safe and sound. Over here, I created my own display by taking 5 layers of clear glass and melting them. I contained them inside the kiln, and then glue this glass on top. Now I felt like this was the best way to display this piece because it's a custom base. This is a very customized piece of art. I felt like it made it attractive. It added to the artwork. It adds to the sculptural quality of the piece. It adds to the luminescence of the piece because it brings the glass up off the table so light can go through it and lift the piece up, illuminate it from the inside, and make it that much more attractive. So get creative with your display. Don't just automatically throw it in a plate stand. from the beginning, you should be thinking, how am I going to put, where am I going to put this piece? I'm just going to put it on the wall. I'm going to put it on the table. I'm going to put it in a stand. What am I going to do with this piece in the end? And so once you get there, think about different ways and methods you can use to make that piece even more exciting with the method of display. These two attractive projects are part of my premium video member collection courses. This one, Crystal Garden and Tree of Tranquility, are two full-length courses that you would have immediate access to if you become a premium video member. So consider joining. I'd like to thank you for following, liking, subscribing, commenting on my YouTube channel. We love it when you do that. Please, if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that button right now, because then you'll be notified when all of my new videos come out. You'll get all my exciting content that Nikki and I are out here putting together just for you to keep you informed, to keep you excited, to keep you motivated and inspired to get out into your glass studio and have some fun. So please become a premium video member. We would love to have you. We have a bunch of courses, full-length courses. They come with a printable pattern ebook. They're exclusive content just for members. And as soon as you become a member, you have access to all that content right away. And these pieces are designed to challenge you, to excite you, to inspire you, to show you how to work with frit, to show you how to work with dichroic, to show you how to create your own glass, to show you just how to have fun making a design, how to cut really intricate curves. Some of the pieces are focused on that. Some are on how to cut circles. So each of the different courses, not only is it an attractive project, not only is it step-by-step video instruction along with the book, but they're also projects that will excite you, challenge you, and inspire you to get out there in your studio and just have a great time. So thanks for joining me, and until next time, happy fusing.